Hi, this is Casey Wilson with Long Beach Local News. Regular viewers may know that every other week we have Long Beach Animal Care Services come by to talk about the shelter and feature a furry friend in need of a home. Today we are joined in studio with Stacy Daves, the director of ACS, and Anna Wong, the return to field director of Stray Cat Alliance. Thanks for coming in today, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
So let's start by talking about the cat that was brought in last time you guys were here, Sparkle. How is she doing?
Sparkle is doing great. So Sparkle just was spayed, which means that she was fixed so she can't have babies. And that's a really important part of her care at the shelter. And she is still available for adoption.
Right. And last time we spoke, there was an influx of animals with ringworm at the shelter, so much that you guys were actually running out of room and encouraging people to foster the animals with ringworm. Has that situation changed at all?
It has, actually. Anna Wong really helped us also shed some light on our need. So we did have some folks volunteer to come and bring some ringworm kittens, and we still need more people to come to volunteer to bring ringworm kittens. We also had a private anonymous donor offer to pay to have those animals housed and boarded at a veterinary facility for us. So today, later this afternoon and tomorrow, many of our ringworm kittens are going to go to a hospital to receive care and treatment and be away from the shelter.
Oh, that's so fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about spaying and neutering cats. Would you like to explain why that is so important?
Sure. So spaying and neutering animals is a surgical procedure that they go through to remove their reproductive organs. So it doesn't change, their physical appearance at all. But the reason why it's so important is because when animals are, out and loose on their own, they're just driven by instinct, and mating is a strong instinct. So if they're able to procreate, they absolutely will. Cats are what are called induced ovulators, which means when they mate, they definitely will get pregnant. Cats are usually pregnant for about 2 months at a time, and then they can become pregnant right after their kittens are born. Cats are also sexually mature at 4 months of age. So they usually, what we see in the shelter is the young moms come in, they're 6 months old, and they're at full term, and they're ready to have their babies. So we need to stop that, because this year alone, the City of Long Beach Animal Care Services has received almost 1,500 kittens this year alone, which is a slight increase from last year. But that has a lot to do with weather and patterns and things like that. So we have done a really good job at the shelter, and our community has been amazing in responding to our need for foster care and adoption. So the Long Beach community has helped us save nearly 90% of those kittens that have come into the shelter.
And plus we have our kitten nursery this year too.
Yes, absolutely. And our kitten nursery has been a major important partner of ours. The kitten nursery is a project called Long Beach Little Paws that is an agreement, sort of a little association that's made between ourselves, City of Long Beach Animal Care Services, Helen Sanders Cat Paws, and Little Lion Foundation. And they are just absolutely amazing. And they have been a really important part of this success this year, as has Stray Cat Alliance and Anna Wong. So we're really fortunate in Long Beach, though we've gotten a lot more kittens. A lot more have been spayed or neutered. And so hopefully we will be stemming the tide next year.
And today you guys have brought Dizzy, this handsome little boy, and Izzy, who's currently chilling out on your hand. Can you tell us more about them?
Sure, they're about 3 months old. We have some of their information here. So they came to the shelter as strays, meaning that somebody just sort of found them, decided that they weren't able to have cats or kittens, and brought them to the shelter so that we could help them find homes. And they came into the shelter, I'm not sure what that says.
They came in July, so they were probably about 6 weeks old when they were brought in.
Yeah, because they're about 3.5-ish months old right now. So it's important for these guys to get spayed or neutered right away, because again, 4 months of age, they can get pregnant. And these two are litter mates. I like to call them womb mates, because that's how they first started. Anyway, so when they are born, they would be great to go together as a pair because they've, been together literally their entire lives. And they just love each other. And it is really hard to be better than a kitten for a kitten. And their transition home is just a lot nicer and gentler for them. So if they can go together, we would love that. But it's not required.
And even helping foster these guys, even if you can't adopt, even getting them out of a cage and getting them to foster really helps tremendously, not only the shelter, but it helps the cats because we're able to tell people better their personalities. And we're seeing a little bit of their personalities here, but when they're in a home, they really open up and light up. And it makes them easier to adopt because we have more information.
Yes, absolutely. And fostering is such a great way to have a kitten. If you feel like, I'm not really sure if I'm ready to make the adoption commitment, it saves a life. Oh my goodness, you guys are the cutest couple ever.
You really
it saves
are.
a life.
We're getting married.
It saves the life of the kitten, and it also gives a person an opportunity to really have that engagement with an animal that is so important. It's important for our health, and it's important in expanding just our sort of worldview on compassion. So just because somebody can't have a cat, maybe because the financial commitment of having one, foster is always an option because we provide all of the support and all of the medical care to our foster homes. And all the fosters need to do is really provide the love and the care, which is really the biggest job.
Okay, Anna, you are in charge of the Return to Field program with Stray Cat Alliance. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. We have been with the City of Long Beach for 6 years now. We're in our 6th year. We're very, very excited. We've spayed and neutered over, I think we're just at 3,000 if we include the TNR. So our program is two-pronged. So Return to Field generates from the shelter, meaning a person brings a stray or a feral into the shelter. We don't care about behavior. It doesn't matter to us. The animal belongs back in its community, regardless if it's friendly or if it's feral. So we spay and we neuter, we microchip, we vaccinate for FERCP and rabies, and then we provide flea control, and they get a little once-over to make sure they're okay. We're looking at body condition and all of that, and then we put them back exactly where they came from. So TNR, which we also do, we do targeted TNR based on the heavy intake areas for kittens that are coming into the shelter, like these guys. We are going to go TNR this area so we can get the parents of these cats.
And TNR means trap, neuter, return.
Right.
Okay.
So it's the same principle, just we're doing the TNR, other people are bringing into the shelter. And so when you do these two-pronged approaches, you're actually hitting it exactly where the nail on the head. You have to have both TNR and RTF for these programs to be as successful as they are. We're very fortunate in Long Beach as there was already a huge contingent of rescues doing TNR, so they've been knocking it out for 25 years. We would be in a much worse place in Long Beach if these other groups had not been doing it. So it's not just us, it's all of the TNR groups, all of the rescue groups. It's really a village that makes this whole thing work. The reason why these programs are important, as cute as my boyfriend is, we don't need more of these guys. They're in the nation's shelters. These guys are the ones that are being killed every day.
Just like these healthy, sweet, friendly kitties.
Right. So when we have these Return to Field programs, which are also known as SNR programs, combined with the TNR programs, we're getting out there in a mass drove, getting the spay and neuter done so that these guys are not being born and not impacting the shelter. So the goal is when you have these successful programs, and they take a few years to really see the process working, we should start seeing lower intake of kittens and cats. And we're expecting next year, both at this shelter and we run the program at Orange County as well. This year's intake across the board with Southern California for Kittens has been high. Those two shelters that we're running the programs at, our intake would have been much higher if we didn't have these programs. So even though we're seeing a slightly higher intake on the kittens, it doesn't mean the programs aren't working, because if we look at the tick on the other shelters that don't have the programs, the intake is much higher. So our programs are working. And we love these guys, but we don't want more of them. I mean, it's hard for an animal out on their own. It's hard for a kitten. It's hard for the shelter staff. It's hard for the rescues. It's heartbreaking. And we just want to control as much as we possibly can. These programs work. And when we have these programs in the shelter, they open up the ability, because these cats are out in 3 days. So then it opens up resources for the harder issues like owner surrenders, pit bulls, chihuahuas. So then the shelter can focus on these other issues that those dogs, those cats that were owner surrenders, they cannot be put back out where they came from. And
Another reason that we focus on these guys so much is because most of the cats that are having kittens, they're not owned. So
Right.
all of our spay neuter ordinances that tell owners you must spay neuter your pets, you have to get that done. There's no owner to follow that ordinance. So somebody has to fill in that gap. Stray Cat Alliance does that, as do other organizations. Fix Long Beach is an organization that helps with spay and neuter of not just these types of cats, but spay neuter for folks that maybe can't afford to take their pet to a full service veterinarian. Fix Long Beach, or I said Fix Long Beach, the Long Beach Spay Neuter.
Spay and Neuter, Jellicle Cats Foundation.
Yep, Pet
the
Assistance
Cat
Foundation.
Pet Assistance Foundation.
Yeah, there's so many.
All of these groups have been just instrumental. Zazzy Cats has been doing some stuff. Little Lions, their kit nurseries even doing trapping. There's just so many people out there trying to help. We couldn't, even though we're running this program, without them doing the auxiliary work, this success is not just Long Beach's and Stray Cat Alliance.
Yeah.
It's all of these organizations that have been doing it way before we came around, helping make it happen. So we're just very thankful, and we're seeing so much. We wouldn't be where we're at in the shelter if it weren't for these programs, and if it wasn't for us having a compassionate city council who brought on a director. This is how we get to these numbers where we can say, is we have all of these approaches here.
Yeah.
And so I do want to, if it's okay, we're in the process of transitioning the program. So Long Beach is going to be taking it over sometime soon, all on their own. And one of the really exciting things is we are now recruiting volunteers. So we're going to be training these volunteers how to run these RTF programs, how to do TNR, how to step in so that we can go in and help another shelter. And we are so privileged to have worked with Long Beach. They've done an amazing job, and to be able to walk away and know that they're going to be able to handle it right now, that they've really just, they're life-saving. It's amazing. And I got to be honest, it was nerve-wracking. I was scared. And now to see that they can handle it. The staff can handle it. Stacy can handle it. And it's just going to make less and less of these little guys. The success is going to be amazing. And so we need volunteers. Please, you guys, if you want to help, you can email Anna@straycatalliance.org. Or what's your email, Stacy?
Stacy.danes@longbeach.gov.
Right.
And we'll put that all in the post.
Yeah. Or April@straycatalliance.org. So all three of us can help you if you want to volunteer at any level, be it fostering, or learning how to do RTF, or learning how to do trapping, or just wanting to come into the shelter and cuddle some babies.
Well, thank you again so much for coming in. For more information on ACS, please visit longbeachlocalnews.com. This is Casey Wilson, and have a great weekend.